Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is all about people pleasing, and it's the fact that really people pleasing is selfish, dishonest, and does nothing but limit yourself and others. And that's what I really want to talk into today. And I don't want to be all negative about it. I just want to be empowering about it, because so many of us fall into the trap of people pleasing, and we've got this beautiful intent, you know, that we want connection and that we don't want to upset anybody and that we want to make others happy and all of these, you know, positive things that that sort of push us into these people pleasing behaviors. But ultimately, I want this message to be kind of a wake up call in terms of how your people pleasing is actually really selfish. And there's so many different angles I really want to go into and dive into this topic with you guys today. Speaking from absolutely personal experience, majority of my life has been lived in people pleasing at the expense of my own truth. And that's why I know firsthand that it does anything but the thing that you really want it to do, which is to establish depth of connection. It actually limits connection and any possibility of really going deep with others when we sell ourselves out. No matter for what reasons, well-intended or not, you know, whenever we sell our truth out and we just get into this realm of people pleasing, we need to wake up to ourselves and see just how we are, you know, operating in a realm that is totally detrimental to ourselves and to those in our lives. And I think a really good one to think about in terms of this is in relationship, because oftentimes we stay in relationships and that we know aren't kind of right for us, and we just kind of get into these pleasing modalities. And also, you know, leading others on, you know, when you lead somebody on because you don't want to upset them and you get caught up in this people pleasing, that's really selfish. And I want to wake us all up to this fact. It doesn't matter how well intent how good your intent is behind the reasons for you falling into people pleasing. It doesn't matter. I want you to drop that out. I want you to recognize that actually you're causing much more damage and harm than you are doing the relationship any good when you stay stuck in this fearful place of people pleasing. And ultimately, you need two things. You need to get absolute clarity over what your truth is, and then you have to have the courage to communicate it. You know, that is what you really need if you want to not only have depth of connection with others and create extraordinary quality of relationship with others, but also have a good quality of relationship with yourself. You know, if you are not operating in alignment with the truth of who you are and you're selling yourself out, that's what people pleasing is. You don't have any integrity with yourself, and therefore you can't trust yourself or value yourself. So you get stuck in this cycle of people pleasing because you are, you know, fearing that you will lose all of your connection if you step forth from a place of truth. But ultimately, it is your people pleasing that in the long term is costing you your relationships and connections. So never be afraid of losing connection in your life. Because when you are afraid of losing connection, you get into this realm of not wanting to speak your truth, and therefore the very thing that you fear, like losing the connection, actually you start manifesting because nobody can connect with you because you're not being who you are. So there's nothing to connect with. So it's really important to recognize and realize that it is in your power to get clarity over what your truth is and then have the courage to communicate it openly. That is your only pathway forward to empowering relationships and relationship and trust within the self. So it's really an important topic. I know we've all heard about people pleasing and like it's no good and all of this stuff before, but sometimes we kind of need to be reminded, and we kind of need to get to a new level of honesty in terms of how we're showing up in our connections and relationships, and not fall back into past patterns of people pleasing because it's more comfortable, because in the long run it is so uncomfortable. You know, when we're dishonest with ourselves and others, that's what people pleasing is. It's dishonesty. You know, when we operate from that realm, at some point we are going to be hit with a whole lot more uncomfortable feelings than that of what we fear if we just have the courage to communicate openly. So it's really important to get this through our minds. No people pleasing is ever a good idea. People pleasing really does suggest that we are selling ourselves out. We're not speaking truthfully. We're just trying to please others, and it's at the expense of our truth. So we're not being authentic. Therefore, we can't create depth of connection with anybody. And at the end of the day, you just become resentful because you're not showing up as your true self, and you're certainly not being loved and appreciated for your true self. You're being loved for the person that you're showing up with and pretending to be, or or doing these certain things you think you need to do in order to make others happy. And that's no depth of connection, and you're certainly killing your trust and value of yourself within. So no more people pleasing. Make today the day that you say no more, and that you get clarity over what your truth is, and you courageously communicate it. That is my message for you guys today. I'm hoping that it's definitely resonating with you. I'd love to hear from you. Like always, please drop your questions, comments, tell us, what's been your experience in terms of people pleasing. And if you've got the courage, make a commitment today to say no more to people pleasing, and stop fearing losing connections, losing friendships, losing people in your life because you're going to speak your truth. In actual fact, you should be getting to a kind of mindset that says, hey, I'm going to lovingly and communicate what my truth is. And, I'm going to trust that the right people are going to love that, and they're going to encourage that, they're going to support that, and they're only going to challenge me to be more of that. And for those people who are threatened by that, for those people who want me to stay as I was in that fake part of who I am, I don't want those people in my life. I can love and appreciate the experience that we've had up until this point, and now I need to move on. But I first need to be able to give them an opportunity to meet my truth. And that is the place where true, extraordinary quality of relationship and depth of connection can be established. But you've got to give the opportunity, and you've got to have the clarity and have the courage to communicate. So definitely want to check in with you guys and see who's been able to join me. If you guys haven't already, make sure that you come on over and join us in the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. We would love to have you a part of that environment where we want only your truth. We don't want any people pleasing. We want you to step forth with courage and clarity and strength into that next level of your limitless potential. So if you'd like any support and encouragement and challenge and all of that great stuff, come on over and join us there. And I've got Brittany and Stephen and Aaron and Angela and Eric and Jeanette and Linda. Awesome. I always love seeing you here. And Jeremy and Alexandria and Dr. Yali and David and Ali and SP and Gary. And hi to you, Eric and Stephen and Conqueta and Hassani and Judy and Bradley and Jason. Oh, my fam's in the house. I love it. And Kishore and Terry and Richard and Cole and Ray and Ellie. Love that you caught me live today. That's awesome. And Shane's here and Joy and Sonula's back. I love it. And Kishore, you make such sense. I'm glad that this today's message is resonating for you. And Maggie's here and Latroya. I started realizing this earlier this year. Awesome. I love that you're on this journey of leaving behind those past patterns of people pleasing, which I know all too well. And I like to think of myself as kind of a recovering people pleaser. And I have to keep this at the forefront of my mind. It's very easy for me to sometimes slip back into these past patterns of losing my truth or losing my connection to my truth, and being able to sort of see what other people want or what will make them happy, and fall into that way of being, and I've gotten a lot more consciously aware of that. It doesn't go on for long before I start to feel this disconnect and have to get back on track. But I think that it is a journey that each and every one of us, to some degree, we've fallen into the realm of people pleasing, and it's something that we all need to work on. And so I love that you're on that journey. Thanks so much for sharing, La Troya. And Zena, resentful to yourself. Yeah, absolutely. You get resentful to yourself, but oftentimes people don't realize that they're in this people-pleasing mentality, and they start doing all these things for others, and then they get resentful at the other people, but nobody's asked them to do any of this stuff or please them in any way, and it creates this really passive-aggressive kind of energy in our relationship dynamics, which is so unhealthy, and it goes totally against anything that we were looking to establish. It's when we come from that place of giving to get, as opposed to recognizing that our relationships are a place that we go to give, not to get. And we can only do that when we're strong and centered within ourselves and we're meeting our own needs, that we can have that overflow into our relationships, rather than being this empty sort of person who's not filling themselves up, and they're going to others in order to fill a void that only they can truly fulfill, and they do it through people pleasing and trying to do all this stuff for other people to make them happy, but it's coming from an energy of giving to get something, and that's how we create resentment in our relationships as well. So love that, Zena. And Kishore, thank you so much. And Linda, thanks for connecting with Alexandria there, and Ramon and Tony. And Shane, finally caught you live. It's been a while. Thank you so much for your kind words there, Shane. It has been a while. Where have you been? I bet you've been working, or I've been probably showing up on the wrong time zone for you. But so appreciate you being here, Shane, and Hyungal and Dominigo and Hassani. Love this. Thank you, V. I will communicate my truth and trust. And you are super awesome at that, Hassani. I'm super proud of you for everything that you're doing in terms of speaking your truth. It's very inspiring. So thank you so much for showing up and being you, Huss. And Jan's here, and Jackie and Sunula and Paulie. And Jan, good morning to you. Awesome to see you. And Eric, thanks Vanessa for your words that always make me feel better and give me a push to keep going forward. Absolutely. I love hearing that, Eric. And you are so appreciated, like I always tell you. And Jackie, yeah, take off the masks, absolutely. And Gretel's here, and Art and Jackie. Yeah, people pleasing is definitely no good for anybody. And Gretel, recovering people pleaser right here. Love it. Yep, totally resonate with that. And really, okay. And Moises is here. I love it. And it's okay. And Pop and Jan, so true. Love your teaching this morning. Love that this is resonating. And Hassani, I think the key is staying connected to our truth and not falling into the trap of questioning ourselves, who we are, what we're about, our own goodness, etc. We have to stay centered in ourselves and trust that the right people will remain and show up in our lives. No, I love that, Hassani. Absolutely, that is so definitely true. And the more we check in with ourselves and we get clear about the truth of who we are, like you're talking about, and then we start to take the steps to align with that truth, the more we build that trust and honor of ourselves, and the more it just doesn't threaten us to lose connection with people who don't really resonate with the truth of who we are. And we can't expect that everybody is going to love us for the truth of who we are. You know, we're all different, and we have to get to a place of recognizing that not everybody's going to love you. It's just as simple as that. And you don't need quantity, you need quality. And you only gain quality by being in a true alignment with the truth of who you are and having the courage to speak it. So I love that, Hassani. You're so appreciated. And Joel's here, and Jason and Paul. I've always felt that helping others and making others happy was easier than to deal with my own heartache, but have often felt like that I have lived for others' happiness instead of my own. Awesome, Paul. I'm so grateful for you sharing this kind of experience with us all here, because this is so true for so many of us. When we go to the external in order to fill a void that only we can truly fill on the internal, but it's kind of harder work, or it's scarier work. We have to face our fears to do that kind of work. So we go to the external to kind of fill ourselves up, but it's only momentary. You know, we can't sustain that kind of feeling of worth, you know, because we've always got to chase it somewhere else, or chase it again and again and again. And until we actually wake up and we take the power back and we recognize that all of our heartache, all of our hurt, all of this, you know, these feelings that we're trying, that void can only truly be filled by us looking internally, getting absolute clarity over who we are, what we want, and getting in alignment with that, then ultimately, you know, we keep running the same game and we keep burning ourselves out. And so I absolutely love, Paul, that you've had the courage to own where you're at and own and see what you've been doing in your life and how that pattern just isn't kind of working, you know. And so you can go on, you know, to a more empowering journey of making some shifts and changes, and going on that journey within. And absolutely, Paul, I'm not sure if you're part of the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community, but if you're not, please come and join us, and we will help you in that community to make those shifts and changes and to get to that next level of your potential as well. And thank you so much, Paul. You are so appreciated. And Lynn's here, and Jan sharing this video as soon as it becomes available. Amazingly insightful truth you taught this morning. Oh, I'm so grateful for you, Jan. Thank you so much. You know, guys, you sharing my content is such a beautiful gift that you give to me. So you are so appreciated for doing that. I absolutely want to reach more people if possible, and I rely on you guys to help me with that. So thanks so much, Jan. You are beautiful. And Sonula, please suggest any book to improve communication skills. I really believe that our communication skills stem from our feelings around our relationship with ourselves. So when we are strong and centered with who we are and we're in alignment with that, you know, it's a lot easier to communicate with others. When we understand ourselves, we can understand others better and therefore be able to communicate in a better way. So I don't particularly, I guess any sort of book in terms of self-development that is going to allow you to tap into the truth of who you are and build a quality relationship with yourself. I keep repeating the same book in every single Facebook Live to you guys, which is Lovability by Robert Holden, just because I feel like that's like the foundational book that I recommend to every person that I can, in terms of knowing the self and aligning with love for the self. And from that place, I really feel like all else falls into place. We're able to communicate and show up with others a whole lot better. But it depends. Like I haven't studied too much in terms of communication skills, but I really do feel like when we have that strong centeredness within the self, all that sort of stuff in terms of communication becomes a whole lot better, because we get out of fear and we get into love and strength. So I'm not sure if that was helpful to you there, Sonula. Let me know. I so appreciate you being here and for your question. And Dennis is here, and Robin, awesome. And Gretel, love the feeling of other people happy. So one of my biggest challenges, some balance and clarity is needed. So this really resonated with me for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Definitely, I love that. And you know, that's part of human nature, and it's part of the beauty within all of us, is the joy that we get when we can contribute to the life of another in whatever way, making them smile, making them happy, or making a serious impact in their lives. So we don't want that to go away, but what we do want to do is get consciously aware as to when we are selling ourselves out. You know, whenever we're trying to make somebody, you know, happy or whatever, at the expense of our truth, that's not helpful to anybody, and it keeps us all really stuck and limited. So you need to know have that clarity over who you are and have the courage to communicate openly, and then make sure that all the ways that you are impacting and contributing to the lives of others are totally in alignment with the truth of who you are. You're never selling yourself out. So love you sharing your experience here. Great all. Thank you so much. And Jen, yes, definitely burning oneself out as I have in my career. Absolutely. You know, and we have to build that awareness around what's burning us out and recognize that we need to make some shifts and changes, because that doesn't help or support ourselves or anybody else. So love that, Jan. And Zach's here, and Phil, and Mercedes, and Style and Fazia. Awesome, guys. Well, that really is my message for you guys today. It's all about how people pleasing is really selfish, it's dishonest, and it does nothing but limit yourself and others. So snap out of it. You know, no matter how well intentioned that people pleasing is, whenever you try and have an impact on another at the expense of your truth, you're only serving to disconnect yourself from others and prevent the depth of connection that you could establish with other people as well. So I am sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. Day or night, I hope it's extraordinary, and I hope you're doing something fun, and I am sending you all of my love. And before I sign off, I've just seen a message from Paul here. Thanks for your reply and thoughts. I've worked for over 6 years with the mentally ill and elderly dementia care. Oh, wow. I feel that I'm out of balance and my inner voice is telling me to go more within, but alas, it's finding the time. I'm not a member, but you'll definitely sign up. Awesome, Paul. So definitely sign up. And if you would like any personal guidance, I do have those 15-minute power sessions where I get to connect with you personally. If you'd like some more individual guidance for you, a new perspective, a way of breaking through, then make sure that you click the link above and book in one of those time slots that I make available for all of you guys out there. And Paul, I totally honor you on this journey, and I really hope that you are on that pathway to giving back to yourself, how much you've given to so many others, which is so beautiful. But you know, when we burn ourselves out and we're running on an empty tank, we actually can no longer help and support others and contribute to their lives. So it's really important to find that balance. And I love that you've got that awareness and you're on that journey, Paul. That's so awesome. And Stephen, thanks for joining. And thanks so much. Same to you, Jen and Yash. And good day to you, Eric. Awesome, guys. I'm sending you all of my love, and I will see you all tomorrow. Can't wait. And thank you so much for engaging and being here. You guys rock my world. Much love.